Let me tell you something that might surprise you. A man doesn't fall for the woman who tries the hardest. He falls for the one who knows her worth without needing to speak. If you've ever wondered what really makes a man crave you, not just emotionally, but also sexually, this could be the eye-opener you didn't know you needed. When it comes to sexual attraction, most people make one major error. They assume it's all about how you look. They focus entirely on external appearance. Things like makeup, the outfit, perfect lighting. And don't get me wrong, your physical appearance can certainly grab attention, but attracting attention and maintaining desire are two very distinct things. The truth is, real sexual attraction goes far deeper than simply looks. It's not just about your appearance. It's about the energy you bring, the way you carry yourself, and the emotional experience you provide when someone is around you. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone who is objectively attractive, maybe even physically flawless, but they come across as flat, uninspired, or maybe even insecure? On the other hand, you've probably met someone who might not meet society's standards of perfection, but there's just something about them, a spark, a magnetism, a vibe that pulls people in. That's because true sexual chemistry isn't about perfection. It's about presence, confidence, and the invisible signals we send that say, I'm comfortable in my own skin, I know who I am, and I bring value to the space I occupy. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or arrogant. It means being grounded. When you walk into a room and you're not seeking validation but simply presenting your full self, calm, self-assured, and curious, that's power. Men notice that. Men feel that. And that's what sparks deeper, more meaningful sexual attraction. It's not your body that turns him on. It's how you carry it. It's not the dress you wear. It's the energy you carry with it. Here's something many women overlook. Men are incredibly sensitive to emotional signals, way more than they let on. If your vibe says, I need you to want me to feel good about myself, it actually creates pressure, and pressure kills desire. But when your energy says, I feel good about who I am, and I'm letting you experience that, it creates lightness, playfulness, and mystery. That's the vibe that pulls a man in without you even trying. Sexual attraction builds when a man feels like you're not trying to impress him. You're simply expressing who you are. You're not auditioning for his approval. You're sharing yourself. And when that sharing is easy, filled with laughter, honesty, and a sense of depth, he starts to want more. He starts to crave that feeling. And guess what? He starts to associate that craving with you. That's when sexual desire stops being about looks and becomes about emotional memory. He'll remember how you made him feel. He'll remember the spark you created just by being yourself. Unfiltered, unapologetic, yet still warm and open. There's also something deeply attractive about a woman who knows what she wants but doesn't demand it. She expresses her desires, sets her boundaries, and does it with grace, not anger. That subtle strength is intoxicating, rare, and magnetic, because it shows a man that you're not hoping he'll choose you, you're deciding if he's worthy of choosing. This flips the entire dynamic. That's when he starts thinking about you even when you're not around. That's when he starts pursuing you, not just for attention, but for a deeper connection. So yes, take care of your appearance and look good for yourself, but remember, sexual desire doesn't live in your curves, your lips, or your lashes. It lives in the way you walk, the way you laugh, the way you look someone in the eye and make them feel like they're the only person in the room. That kind of connection, that's what keeps men coming back, not just for your body, but for your energy, and that's where the real power lies. There's something incredibly powerful about mystery, but no, we're not talking about playing games or manipulating anyone. We're talking about the natural intrigue that happens when you don't reveal every detail about yourself all at once. When a woman carries herself with depth, a sense that there's more to her than meets the eye, men feel that and they lean in. It's not about being distant. It's about giving someone just enough to spark curiosity without revealing everything up front. You've probably experienced this. Think about someone who instantly overshares. You meet them and within 5 minutes they've told you everything about their life, about their exes, their emotional baggage, their plans for the next 5 years. Maybe it's well-intentioned, maybe even brave, but there's something about it that feels overwhelming. There's no space left to explore, no layers left to uncover. It's all right there. And when there's nothing left to wonder about, there's nothing left to chase. Men are naturally drawn to what they find valuable and intriguing. When they sense a woman has layers, when they feel she's confident enough to share parts of herself over time rather than all at once, it creates an almost irresistible tension. It makes him want to keep showing up, asking questions, trying to earn more access to your world. And that feeling, that's what makes desire build over time. This doesn't mean being cold or closed off. That's the opposite of what works. It means being warm, open, but intentional. Sharing just enough to create a spark while holding on to some mystery. It's showing up fully in the moment without spilling every detail of your story. It's smiling when he asks a question, maybe teasing a little, saying, "You'll have to earn that one." It's knowing that your story is valuable and he has to prove he's worthy of hearing it. One of the sexiest energies you can bring to any interaction is this quiet confidence that says, "There's more to me than you see right now." Because that invites discovery, and men love the feeling of discovery. It makes them feel alive, giving them a sense of purpose in the dynamic. And when a man feels like he's slowly unlocking a part of you, emotionally, mentally, even physically, he starts to feel deeply connected, not just in. You also have to understand that fast intimacy, especially physical intimacy, can sometimes trick our brains into feeling a connection when it isn't really there yet. That's not to say you can't be physical early on. You're in control of your body and your choices. But when everything happens too fast, especially without emotional build-up, it often fades just as quickly. That's why creating a sense of gradual revelation is so important. It keeps him present, attentive, and keeps him coming back, not just for the physical connection, but because he's genuinely interested in who you are underneath the surface. This is where many women go wrong, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing everything too soon. They give the story, the body, the access, all before the man has even shown he's earned it. And then they wonder why he pulls back. It's not that he's afraid of depth. It's that he didn't have time to build the desire for it. He didn't have the space to feel the pull of your mystery. And once that sense of mystery is gone, so is the excitement. Mystery isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about being comfortable enough with who you are that you don't need to rush to be understood. You let him work a little. You let him wonder. And in that wondering, attraction grows. What's not immediately available becomes valuable. What takes time to unfold becomes unforgettable. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't meet her standards. Not because she's difficult, but because she values herself. That kind of self-respect radiates in ways you can't fake, and men notice it immediately. When you carry yourself like someone who knows her worth, you send a message that says, if you want access to my life, you have to bring more than charm and effort. You have to bring consistency, respect, and real intention. Men are drawn to women who don't chase love, but attract it by simply being rooted in their own value. And this doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from clarity. Clarity about what you will and won't tolerate. clarity about the kind of connection you're looking for, clarity about how you deserve to be treated. And when you live by those standards, not only do you filter out the wrong people faster, but you also create space for the right one to step in and rise to meet you. What a lot of people don't realize is that standards aren't just rules you set for others, they're guidelines you live by yourself. If you say you want a respectful, honest, emotionally available man, but you constantly entertain someone who plays games, flakes on plans, or avoids real conversations, then you're not upholding your own standards. And the message that sends is that your standards are flexible, that they bend under pressure. And that's when attraction starts to diminish, because men may test boundaries. They're only human. But when a woman calmly and confidently reinforces those boundaries, something shifts. He realizes you're different. You're not afraid to walk away. And here's the truth. When you're willing to let go of a man who doesn't align with your values, you become the woman who's never truly at risk of losing the right one. That energy, that's powerful, that's alluring. It makes him sit up straighter, lean in a little more, and reconsider how he's showing up in your life. Let's be honest. Many women lower their standards, not because they want to, but because they fear they won't find someone better, or they're just exhausted from waiting. But the moment you compromise on what you truly need to hold on to someone who's not providing it, you send a message to yourself. You tell yourself you don't believe something better is possible, and that message starts leaking into your energy, your tone, and your presence. It alters how you show up in the dynamic, and eventually it changes how he sees you too. But when you hold firm to your standards, something remarkable happens. You begin to radiate differently. You approach interactions without the fear of rejection, because you're not there to prove anything. You're there to observe, to see if this person aligns with your values. That shift in perspective makes all the difference. It turns you from the woman who's waiting to be chosen into the woman who does the choosing. And that right there is the most attractive position you can find yourself in. The best part is, high standards don't drive the right men away, they inspire them. The kind of man who's serious about connection, intimacy, and building something real isn't intimidated by your standards. He's attracted to them because they show him you're not just a good time, you're the real deal. You're the woman who isn't just physically attractive, but emotionally magnetic. And that kind of attraction doesn't fade, it grows, it deepens, and it lasts. Flirting isn't about having the perfect line, or knowing some magic phrase that makes a man swoon. It's so much deeper and simpler than that. True flirting, the kind that sparks chemistry between two people, is all about energy. It's the way you look at him when he speaks, the way you lean in just slightly when you laugh. It's that subtle glance, that playful tone, that spark in your eyes that says, I see you, and I'm enjoying this. That's the type of flirting that doesn't need a script. It's felt instantly, and it's unforgettable. Many people think they have to say something flirtatious to create attraction, but that's actually the least important part. If your words say one thing, but your body language, tone, and vibe say something completely different, it won't land. He won't feel it. But when your energy is playful, relaxed, open, and just a little bit cheeky, that's when things start to ignite. The best part is, you don't need to overthink it. You just need to be present. Being present is powerful. When you're not worrying about what to say next, or if you're being too forward or too reserved, you create space for a genuine connection. Your energy becomes easy, fun, safe, but still exciting. And that balance is rare. Most people are either too guarded or too intense. But when you find that sweet spot, where you're teasing just a little, smiling naturally, enjoying the moment without needing it to become anything more, It creates tension in the best way. That's where sexual attraction starts to build, not because you're trying to seduce him, but because you're making him feel good in your presence. You're making him feel noticed, appreciated, and maybe even challenged in a playful way. It's like giving him a puzzle, a game he wants to play, not to win a prize, but because the game itself is fun. That's the kind of vibe that makes a man think about you when you're not around. That's the kind of energy that sticks. Eye contact plays a huge role in this. It's not about staring him down, but holding his gaze just a little longer than usual, letting a smile linger on your face as if you know something he doesn't, tilting your head slightly. These are all small gestures, but they speak volumes. They say, I'm enjoying this, and I want you to enjoy it too. And that's the essence of flirting. It's an invitation. It's you creating a moment and allowing him to step into it without pressure, without expectation, just presence and possibility. Your voice also plays a part. The tone, the rhythm, the pauses, all these elements add texture to what you're saying. You could be talking about something as mundane as your day or your favorite coffee, and still have him hanging on every word, simply because of the way you say it. That's what makes flirting so effortless. When you understand it, you stop trying to impress and start expressing. Expression is magnetic. Remember, attraction isn't built by doing more, it's built by doing less, but with more intention, slowing down, not rushing to fill the silence, letting tension build, allowing your energy to speak louder than your words. Because when a man feels good around you, when he feels energized, intrigued, comfortable, yet curious, that's when real desire starts to grow. And the best part? You don't have to be anyone but yourself. You just have to let that version of you shine through in a way that's alive, present, and playfully inviting. If you want to know what truly makes a man crave you, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, deeply, it's not about looking perfect or acting seductive. It's about how he feels when he's around you. And the truth is, the deepest kind of sexual desire doesn't come from pressure or performance. It comes from emotional safety. When a man feels like he can be his full self around you, without fear of judgment or constant measuring, something powerful happens. He lets his guard down. And when that happens, desire grows in a way that's real, lasting, and deeply connected. Most men walk through life wearing emotional armor. They're expected to have it all together, to be strong, to never show vulnerability. But beneath that armor is a real person, someone who also wants to feel seen, someone who wants to feel accepted, someone who wants to feel enough. So when a woman comes along who doesn't try to fix him, change him, or impress him, but instead creates space for him to just be, that's rare. That's magnetic. And that's what turns casual attraction into genuine craving. A lot of people confuse emotional safety with being overly available or always agreeable, but that's not it. Emotional safety isn't about saying yes to everything, it's about being consistent, being real. It's when your reactions don't make someone feel like they're walking on eggshells. It's when they know that if they tell you the truth, even if it's messy, vulnerable, or uncertain, you'll meet it with understanding, not judgment. And that kind of trust, it creates intimacy on an entirely different level. When a man starts to trust you emotionally, he starts to lean in, not just with his words, but with his time, his presence, and eventually his body. Desire is strongest when someone feels like they can be fully seen and still wanted. That's when it becomes more than just physical, it becomes personal. He doesn't just want sex, he wants you. The way you listen, the way you respond, the way you make him feel like he doesn't have to perform to be accepted. And this goes both ways. The more emotionally safe you feel, the more magnetic your energy becomes. When you're not anxious, overthinking, or trying to manage his perception of you, you show up more relaxed, more confident, more playful. That creates ease, and ease is sexy. People confuse drama with passion, but real passion lives in safety, in the quiet confidence that neither person needs to be perfect to be wanted, in the freedom to be goofy, raw, or real, and still feel desired. That's the kind of connection that draws someone back over and over again. Emotional safety also improves physical chemistry. Without it, even the most intense moments can feel disconnected or empty. But when trust is there, when you both feel emotionally held, even the smallest gestures, a touch, a glance, a whisper, can feel electric. That's because the body is finally relaxed. The mind isn't racing. There's no need to overthink. And in that space, real intimacy begins. Not just surface level attraction, but a deep soul level connection where everything flows naturally. So it's not about trying harder to be sexy. It's about showing up as someone who creates a space where both of you can actually breathe, where attraction can rise naturally because the pressure is off and the connection is on. And when a man feels that, when he feels like he can exhale around you, that's when he stops looking elsewhere. That's when he starts wanting more of you. Not because you're trying to be someone special, but because you made him feel safe enough. There's something about confidence that you just can't fake. It's not about being loud, bold, or the center of attention. It's that quiet, grounded energy that says, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. And I'm not here to prove anything. I'm just here to be me. That kind of energy, it changes the entire dynamic in a room. When a woman walks in with that kind of presence, men feel it. It doesn't shout, it whispers. And that whisper is powerful. Confidence is sexy because it creates comfort. When you're comfortable with yourself, it instantly puts the other person at ease. You don't need to seek validation, and you're not waiting for someone else to decide your value. This gives your energy a sense of freedom, and that freedom is incredibly attractive. It makes a man want to step into your world, not because you asked him to, but because he feels drawn to it. You've probably seen it. Two women can walk into the same space. One might be conventionally attractive, wearing the perfect outfit, saying all the right things. The other may be more understated, quieter, even less polished on the surface. But she radiates confidence. She owns the way she speaks. She's not worried about whether someone likes her. She's not comparing herself to anyone else. She's just being, and that energy, that's what grabs attention and holds it. Confidence also shows up in how you handle moments that don't go perfectly, like when there's an awkward silence, or he doesn't text back right away, or something feels off. A confident woman doesn't spiral. She doesn't chase. She doesn't make it mean something about her worth. She stays centered. She lets the moment pass without losing her balance. And that calmness, that's what makes a man feel like he's dealing with someone on a different level. Someone who isn't easily shaken. Someone who chooses connection but doesn't need it to feel whole. Confidence doesn't mean pretending you don't care. It means caring about the right things, about how you feel in your own skin, about whether someone adds to your life, not just if they like you. Confidence shifts the question from, does he want me, to, do I want him in my space, in my energy, in my world? And that shift is magnetic, because it puts you in control of your story. Now, confidence isn't something you perform, it's something you build. and it grows every time you honor your boundaries. Every time you say no to what doesn't feel right. Every time you show up without pretending to be someone else. Men can feel that. They can sense when you're not trying too hard, when you're not over-explaining or apologizing for being who you are. That level of self-trust, it's rare and it's incredibly attractive. Here's the beautiful part. When you radiate that kind of confidence, it actually gives him permission to do the same, to drop his guard, to step up, to meet you at your level. Because confidence isn't just attractive, it's contagious. It lifts the energy between two people. It creates space for honesty, chemistry, playfulness, and depth all at once. So when you show up knowing you're enough, without needing to be perfect, without needing someone to validate it, you become unforgettable. Not because you were trying to impress him, but because you were too busy being yourself. And in a world full of people trying to be chosen, that's exactly what makes you stand out. Here's the truth. When it comes to making a man want you sexually, it's not about games or perfect lines or trying to be someone you're not. It's about energy. Real, authentic, magnetic energy. It's about showing up fully in your own skin with standards you stand by. Confidence you don't have to explain, and a presence that invites connection without forcing it. When you learn to embrace your feminine power, not just the soft parts, but the strong, calm, grounded parts too, you become the kind of woman who draws men in without even trying, because you're not out here chasing attention, you're attracting something deeper, something real. And the most beautiful part, you don't have to change to become that woman. You just have to uncover her. She's already in you. The woman who speaks with clarity, the woman who flirts with her energy, the woman who makes a man feel safe, seen, and challenged in all the right ways. The woman who doesn't lower her standards because she knows what she deserves. That's the woman he desires, not just in a moment, but again and again. So stop trying to be what you think men want. Start becoming deeply aligned with who you are. Because when you own that, you become unforgettable.